Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Our today's question on arrays topic is inversion of array. The question states that given an array of integers, find the inversion count in the array. So let's see what actually is inversion count. For an array, inversion count indicates how far the array is from being sorted. If the array is already sorted in increasing order, then the inversion count is 0, and if the array is sorted in decreasing order, then the inversion count is maximum. So formally two elements a of I and a of j form an inversion if a of I is greater than a of j and the index I is less than j. Let's have a look at the examples. In example 1, the size of the array is 5 and the array elements are 2, 4, 1, 3, 5. So here we can see that 2 is greater than 1, but the index at which 2 is located is less than 1. Therefore we have 2 and 1 as one inversion. Similarly, we have another inversion as 4 and 1. And finally, the last inversion which we have in this array is 4 and 3. Let's consider second example when the size of the array is 5 and the array elements are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here we don't have any pair such that the element at ith location is greater than j and the index I is less than j. Therefore, the inversion count in this particular array is 0. And finally, in example 3, all the elements are equal. Therefore, we don't have any element a of I which is greater than a of j for I less than j. Therefore, here also the inversion count will be 0. The approach which we will be using to solve this particular problem is merge sort. So if you haven't watched my merge sort video, I highly recommend you to watch it first before proceeding with this video. The merge sort video is linked down in the description below. You can check it out and then proceed with this video. The right side of the screen shows the algorithm for merge sort where we have made a slight change in the merge function. As we can see in the else part of the while loop, we have inserted a line called count is equal to count plus mid minus I plus 1. So this particular line is used to update the value of inversion count. Initially we declare a global variable called count and initialize it to 0. And then we can call a merge sort function with the array 2, 4, 1, 3, 5 where the size of the array is 5. So the initial values of L and R will be 0 and 4 which are the starting and ending indices of the array A. And then we calculate the value of mid as 2 and we divide or partition the array into subarrays 2, 4, 1 and 3, 5 and call merge sort function for both these subarrays. So now let's consider the first subarray 2, 4, 1. So the values of L and R will be 0 and 2. Again we calculate the value of mid as 1 and again we partition this particular subarray into two more subarrays, namely 2, 4 and 1. So now let's consider the left subarray which is 2, 4 and again the values of L and R will be 0 and 1. The value of mid will be 0 and let's divide the array 2, 4 into 2 and 4. And next we call the merge function where we create an auxiliary array B and we use indices I and j to traverse the array left subarray and right subarray. And then we check whether if a of I is less than or equal to a of j, that is if 2 is less than or equal to 4. Since 2 is less than 4, therefore we copy 2 into the auxiliary array B and then we also copy 4 and finally we copy the contents of the array B into array A. So we got a first sorted subarray as 2 and 4 and then we return to the original call of the function where we had two subarrays, namely 2, 4 and 1. So again we call the merge function for these two subarrays, namely 2, 4 and 1. We use indices I and j, create a auxiliary array B and then we check whether if 2 is less than or equal to 1. Since 2 is not less than or equal to 1, therefore we are in a else part where we copy a of j into the array B, that is we copy 1 and then we update the value of count as count is equal to count plus mid minus I plus 1. So the formula mid minus I plus 1 represents the number of elements in the first subarray from I to the end of the array. So the reason for including this formula is that suppose the first subarray is already sorted and if we encountered an element in the first subarray that is at the index I, then the elements after that particular element will be greater so that the number of elements mid minus I plus 1 are equal to the number of inversion count. That is, we here have that 2 is greater than 1. Therefore, after 2 we will get 4, which is also greater than 1. Therefore, we consider the elements mid minus I plus 1. That is, we consider these two elements 2 and 4 as an inversion count. So the updated value of count will be, count is equal to 0 plus 1, which is the value of mid, minus I, which is 0, and finally plus 1. So the updated value of count will be 2, since we have two elements in the left subarray which are greater than that particular element, which is A of j in the right subarray. So we update the values of B, and then finally copy the contents of B into array A. So we got a second sorted subarray as 1, 2, 4. And now let's consider the right subarray 3, 5, where the value of L and R will be 3 and 4, and the value of mid will be 3. So let's again partition the array 3 and 5 into 3 and 5, and then call the merge function, where we create an auxiliary array B. Check whether if 3 is less than 5. Since 3 is less than 5, we can directly copy the content 3 into array B and then 5. And finally, we can copy the contents of B into A. So we got our second sorted subarray as 3 and 5. And finally, we can call the merge function for the subarrays 1, 2, 4 and 3 and 5. So here the values of L and R was 0 and 5, as we have seen earlier, and the value of mid was already calculated as 2. So we call the merge function, where we create an auxiliary array B. Check whether if 1 is less than 3. Since 1 is less than 3, we copy 1 into the array B. Again we check whether if 2 is less than 3. Since 2 is less than 3, we copy 2 into the array B. And we have encountered an element 4 which is not less than 3. Therefore, we update the value. First we copy 3 into the array B and then update the value of count. So the updated value of count will be, count is equal to count plus mid minus I plus 1. That is the number of elements from I till mid in the first subarray. Since we have only one element 4, which is greater than the jth element in the right subarray, therefore we update the value of count as count is equal to 2 plus 1. So the updated value of count is 3. And then we copy the contents of the remaining elements into B. And finally, we copy the entire array B into the array A. So finally, we got a sorted array as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the inversion count was 3. So now let's begin with the actual code. The driver code is already given here. We just need to complete the inversion count function. That is, the contents of main function are given. We need to complete the inversion count. So initially let's declare a global variable called as count, and then initialize it with 0 in our inversion count function. That is, it will be initialized with 0 for every test case. After that, we can call a merge sort function with the parameters as the array A, the left the value of L as 0 and the value of R as n minus 1. And finally we can return the count variable, which is the value of inversion count. So now let's create a merge sort function whose return type is void, and the parameters are the array A, the left index and the right index of the array A. In the merge sort function, we first check whether if L is less than R, and if so, we calculate the value of mid as L plus R divided by 2. And then we recursively call the merge sort function for the left and right partition. So the left partition is from L to mid, and similarly the right partition is from mid plus 1 to R. And then finally we call a merge function where the parameters are the array A, left, mid and right indexes. So now let's create a merge function whose arguments are similar to that of merge function except another argument which is mid. So in merge function, as we have seen in the explanation part, we create an auxiliary array which is B. Let's keep the size of the array as R plus 1. That is, it can hold up to R elements. And then we also create few more variables for accessing the left subarray and the right subarray. So I is initialized to L. Similarly, J is initialized to mid plus 1, which are the left side of the subarray 1 and subarray 2 respectively. And finally, K is initialized to L, which is the starting of the auxiliary array B. And then we insert a while loop with the condition I is less than or equal to mid, and similarly J is less than or equal to R. And then we check whether if A of I is less than or equal to A of J. If A of I is less than or equal to A of J, then we simply copy the contents of A of I into B of K, as well as increment the value of I and K. That is, B of K plus plus will be equal to A of I plus plus. And if A of I is not less than or equal to J, then we insert an else condition where we copy the contents of A of J into B of K, as well as increment the value of K and J, as we have done in the if part. Here instead of I it will be J. And then we update the value of count as count is equal to count plus mid minus I plus 1. So mid minus I plus 1 represents the number of elements from I to mid. Since A of I was greater than A of J, we consider the elements from I till the end of the first subarray as the inversion count. So after this while loop, if there are any remaining elements in the array first subarray or the second subarray, then we copy it to the auxiliary array B. That is, if I is less than or equal to mid, then B of K plus plus will be equal to A of I plus plus. And similarly, let's do it for the second subarray, where if J is less than or equal to R, then B of K plus plus will be equal to A of J plus plus. And finally, we copy the contents of the auxiliary array B into our original array A. For that, we can insert a for loop I is equal to L. I is less than or equal to R. I plus plus. A of I is equal to B of I. So we have copied the contents of the auxiliary array B into our original array A, and we are done with the code. We can check, we can compile the code to check whether it contains any errors. So I tried compiling the code and it was not compiling. Then I made a slight change, that is, I changed the variable count to counter, and then it got successfully compiled. So now we can submit our code to check whether it is correct. And our code got successfully submitted. So if you found this video helpful, do hit that like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more such upcoming videos on must do coding questions for interview preparations. Thank you.